With the start of this year's Kyoto Summit just 3 hours away, the delegates from the participating countries are beginning to arrive at the conference center. A major poll of domestic and international opinion, carried out just last week, shows that the vast majority of respondents favor a complete quarantine of Neo-Kobe as a means to combat the risk of the Snatcher menace.
Now that the chief's death has been confirmed, it won't be long before they strip us of our junker authorization.
They will be deciding how to handle Neo-Kobe at the summit in just 3 hours.
There are rumors that they're going to use nukes on the city to make sure the Snatchers are wiped out.
That's ridiculous. Come on, this is the 21st century.
That may not be as improbable as it seems. The world's leaders are extremely concerned about the Snatcher problem.
The chief was going to calm this hysteria in his speech at the summit, but that'll never happen now.
3 months ago, government pressure on junker operations increased dramatically. Gillian's transfer here was really our last chance.
Our own chief was snatched. It's not too surprising they don't want to trust us anymore.
I've heard that the Army and FBI are going to take over operations now.
That's correct. That too will be officially decided in 3 hours' time.
3 hours, eh? Is there any way we can find their hideout in that time?
If we don't, we and everybody else in this city are finished.
As far as they're concerned, we're just like a cancerous tumor that has to be cut out.
We have to hit the Snatchers' headquarters before then.
Gillian, can you do it?
If we only knew where it was, I should be able to manage something.
Hitting their outposts like Queen's Hospital won't do any good. We have to find their main nerve center.
What about the memory of that snatcher who was impersonating the chief?
Just like the others, it was completely blanked. It's a form of self-destruct mechanism that they use.
Wait a minute. Mental. What about tracing that video phone call from Jamie?
It was no good. The call didn't last long enough. Still, it definitely did come from within the city.
Damn. Where are they hiding?
Gillian, can't you remember anything at all? Didn't Jamie say something that implied you were somehow connected to the Snatchers?
Nothing. I can't remember a damn thing. Metal, I want you to tell me everything you know about me. Why was I sent to Junker headquarters? Where did I come from?
Gillian...
Metal, the chief's dead. Tell me everything you know about me.
Well, you see...
Metal!
All right. With the chief gone, you are the highest-ranking officer here.
You knew all along?
Of course.
Where were we rescued from?
3 years ago, you and Jamie were taken into protective custody in the Siberian Neutral Zone by the 17th Siberian Investigative Force. More precisely, you were discovered in cryogenic sleep pods in an underground bunker near Moscow.
Cryogenic sleep pods? You mean they were frozen?
This is a photograph of the bunker. There is no record of when you were placed there. In addition, the third pod was empty at the time you were discovered.
There were 3 pods?
You were revived and taken into custody by the Army. Apparently, as a result of the extended sleep, both of you suffered from complete amnesia. However, another theory suggests your memories may have been intentionally erased. This is the only piece of evidence found at the site.
That's Harry's picture, from when he was a kid.
That's correct. Harry is Gillian and Jamie's son. It's been confirmed by DNA tests.
Harry? Harry was my son?
Using the information gained from the photo, it was established that you are Gillian Seed and your wife, Jamie Lorraine. Both of you are American citizens, born in the late 1960s.
The 1960s?
In addition, both of you vanished without a trace in 1989. There is no other information available about you after that.
1989?
Yes, you come from a world that's been gone for 50 years.
But what does that have to do with the Snatchers?
When the 17th Special Investigative Force was bringing the two of you out, there was an accident. Though the two of you were all right, most of the 17th was killed. One of them was a Snatcher. Of course, before their departure, they all underwent thorough examinations. So, if one of them was snatched...
It had to be somewhere in Siberia, right?
That's correct. And in order to attempt to determine the origin of the Snatcher, as well as your true identities, you were assigned to Junker headquarters. The hope was that exposure to the Snatchers would help you regain your memories.
Moscow? 50 years ago?
Almost everyone who was in Moscow at the time was killed in the catastrophe.
So Gillian and Jamie are the only living witnesses?
Harry. Harry was my son. Did he know?
No. It was highly classified information. He was never told.
I was never able to do anything for him.
Wait a minute, Gillian. Didn't Jamie say something about taking a boy hostage?
That's right. They must know about Harry and are using him to threaten her.
We have to find their headquarters quickly.
We've only got 3 hours.
Gillian, let's think this all through again. We may get some kind of a hint out of it.
You're right. There may be some clue in the way they're operating.
All right. Let's go over what we know about them.
So, moin moin liebe Leute, knappe 7 Minuten nachdem das Video begonnen hat, kann ich euch auch mal begrüßen. Ja, für euch ist jetzt ein Tag oder 2 vergangen, je nachdem wie mein Video-Upload gerade so ist. Für mich gerade mal irgendwie 20 Minuten, ich habe mich direkt wieder dran gesetzt und doch weiter gespielt, weil ich gesehen habe, wie wenig es eigentlich noch ist, rein vom Machen her. Ich habe mir ja natürlich nicht durchgelesen, was man machen muss, sondern nur den Text gesehen, wie viel es ist, von daher dachte ich mir, ich hau das jetzt nochmal hinten dran. Ist mir gerade wichtiger. So, und wow. Leck mich am Arsch. Die Information ist raus. Wir wurden eingefroren, Jamie und ich wurden eingefroren. Mit unserem Sohn, der offensichtlich früher rauskam. Und es war tatsächlich Harry. Das ist traurig gerade irgendwie für mich, weil da kam jetzt dieser riesen Plot-Twist und ich wusste ihn schon. Das ärgert mich gerade selbst so ein bisschen. Aber ich hatte recht. Harry war unser Sohn und da ging wohl mächtig was schief und ja. Na, mal schauen, was jetzt Sache ist. Warum bin ich eigentlich gerade so laut? Hallo? 1, 2, 3? Irgendwie bin ich lauter als eben, obwohl ich nichts umgestellt habe. Gut, ja, legen wir los. Ein paar Informationen muss es da ja geben. First of all, what's the Snatcher's weak point? Ja, ihr Schwachpunkt ist, Sonne. This is Snatcher's weak point? Think carefully about it before you answer, Gillian. Are you sure? Think very carefully. Wieso denn? Ach nee, es sind ja Infrared Lights, ne? Oder, nee, Ultraviolette? Was gibt denn Sonne raus? Ultraviolettes Licht, oder? Nee. Doch. That's correct. Ultraviolettes Licht, klar. Der weak point ist der defective artificial skin. Long-term exposure to ultraviolet rays causes mutations in melanocytes in the stratum basale of their skin, which become cancerous. Sagt doch einfach, die kriegen Krebs. Specifically, long ultraviolet rays in the 250 to 350 nanometer range is responsible for causing the cancer. That's right. And that's the reason that they are so limited as to when they can be out. Aber Moment, da war ja was von wegen, dass die neue Haut bekommen. Phase 2. Die soll doch eingeleitet sein schon, dachte ich. Von daher hätte sich der Vorteil ja auch erübrigt jetzt, ne? Ich bin gerade lauter als vorher, habe ich das Gefühl. They only come out at night and the middle of winter, wear sunscreen even then. That's the method that Jean used to figure out when the Snatchers were up to. How ironic. It turns out that the destruction of the ozone layer actually had a benefit for us humans. Das ist allerdings wirklich interessant. That's right. Now that what method that oh wow, jetzt muss ich erstmal wieder ins Englische reinkommen. Now, what method were they using to move and be able to avoid ultraviolet rays in sunlight at the same time? Underpass, Highway, Turbocycle, Black Taxi. Ja, ein Underpass. Da waren wir ja drin. This is the method, the movement that the Snatchers were using? That's right. They were using the abandoned tunnels of the old tunnel liner system to get from place to place. That's how they were able to move around without being noticed. Niece's apartment, the old factory, Queen's hospital, all of the hideouts were connected by the tube liner. So maybe there's a tunnel under their main base as well. There's a good chance of that. Wär blöd, wenn nicht. Next, what phenomenon was always observed at any location where snatchers appeared, including the underground tunnels? Sneezing. This is the phenomenon you're talking about? That's right. And what was the cause of the sneezing? Snow 9. Genau. Snow 9. This is the reason for sneezing. You're correct. The sneezing was caused by the presence of the allergen Snow 9. Mir tränen gerade die Augen, weil ich gerade Tomatensauce koche und Zwiebeln geschnitten habe. Fuck, ey. Ah, das klebt noch an den Händen. Snow 9 is an artificial form of pollen developed by the military, and its presence is limited to certain regions. They are using it to interference with radio transmissions and keep people away. They probably were producing it intentionally themselves. The only regions of the city where Snow 9 is still present are areas around the Einer River. It has been cleared out of other areas because of danger it presents. Egal. So that means that their base must be somewhere near the Einer River, right? That is a fair conclusion. They are probably somewhere near the Einer River, protected by the Snow 9. Accessible to the tube liner and near the Einer River. And we must not forget the 3 photographs that we found the snatchers with. All of them were related to the Soviet Union before the catastrophe. The map on the wall of Nielsen's apartment, the picture of the temple in director's office at Queen's Hospital, the photo of Wet Square hidden in the chief's office. Why do the snatchers keep pictures and memorabilia like this? Maybe they're homesick? Maybe that's where they come from. Homesick? Get serious, Mika. They're robots, you know? Let's analyze this a little closer. What city is related to all 3 of these pictures? Yeah, Moscow. This is the city they have in common. That's correct. It's Moscow. Moscow must be where they come from. That must be the basis of their programming. You might be right. Just as people have a hometown that is dear to them, their creators may have put a hometown into their programming. They use very advanced artificial intelligence systems, so they may have needed something like that to maintain their emotional balance. Yeah, they were born out of nothing, but they needed to give them some kind of image as an emotional base. So Moscow is their creator and their home, and the place that they found Jamie and I.
In other words, this homing instinct thing of theirs has led them to set up their headquarters in some place that reminds them of home, or their creator.
What part of this city is like Moscow?
Moscow's really cold, right? They get a lot of snow, don't they?
Snow?
No snow has been recorded in Kobe in several years.
Well, then that's not it.
Wait, what about that pollen? That crystal bioengineered stuff, Snow 9?
Now that you mention it, wasn't it snowing on Jamie's video phone call?
That's right. Their hideout has to be somewhere close to the Einer River.
The Einer River flows for miles around here, Gillian. We could never search it all in time.
Gillian, let's look at a map of the areas investigated so far. This is an enlarged view of the southwest portion of the city around the Einer River. This blue area is that in which Snow 9 is present. Now I'll superimpose a chart of the abandoned tube liner tunnels. From this we can establish those areas with Snow 9, which are accessible by subway tunnel.
Damn. Nice try, but it's still too large. We could never cover it in 3 hours.
Don't give up so fast, Gillian. What about that image of home thing we were talking about? Maybe there's some kind of geographic similarity. Maybe the same view can be seen or something.
I'll display a map of Moscow alongside.
What's this?
Look, the rivers are exactly the same shape.